Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for pulling up to Meta One Design headquarters. We're here. It's another Monday. It's been far too long. I know I have been slacking because of I blame the CBD event that I haven't hosted c- beyond the NFT in about 2 weeks. But we're back. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. I'm so happy to see you all. For those of you that are new, my name is Sinful, and I am your host for tonight's show. Um, I just want to give a few shout outs before we get started. We have the legend Stony Eye in the building. Welcome, my brother. Thank you so much for pulling up today. And I miss you, my brother. I miss you. Let's link up sometime. And here I am. There we go. Oh, that's why. My apologies. I'm having some OBS issues here. I thought I was all set up here, but it looks like OBS wants me to
Oh,
fail. That
yeah, it's a bit of a tricky system sometimes.
it's all right. I mean, we get by. All I have to do is probably delete it and turn it back on, or actually,
Ah, yeah, that's it.
turn it
Perfect.
off and turn it back on. We actually tested this theory earlier in before we came on. But without, I guess, without further delay. Okay, here now we can see myself and our guest here on the screen. Um, Before we get started, I want to give a few shout outs to our sponsor, Bucktown MMA. Bucktown is a mixed martial arts program that's focused on empowering youth and young combat athletes all around the world. And yeah, if you would like to learn about more about Bucktown, head on over to bucktown.org/support. There you could read a little bit about the program, see what countries Jay and the Bucktown team are operating in, as well as even contribute to the program through purchases of any streetwear or NFTs. And yes, you got it right. He's got the Central End wearables as well. So all proceedings go back to the program. It's definitely a good cause, and Beyond the NFT is proud to have Bucktown as a sponsor. Thank you everyone for listening to my shill, and yeah, now we now we can actually get to the juice. Now that we've paid the bills, we can get to the juice. I would like to introduce tonight's guest. He Jake from GBM Bid-to-Earn. Welcome, Jake. Thank you so much for joining us today on Beyond the NFT. How are you
Thank you
doing?
for having me. It's a pleasure. Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm in a busy period of my life. I've got my wedding coming up in about 2 weeks. So this morning I was going off to do my final fitting for my suit. I've got vows to write. I've got speeches to write. I've got all different family coming over because I'm marrying a girl in New Zealand and I'm from England, as you'll guess from the accent. So there's a bit of, organization of family coming over and lots of different things and lots of spreadsheets and Excels of here's when this person arrives, we need to go and do this. Then we've got this pre-wedding event, and we've got these got to go to Hobbiton, of course, bring people, yeah, people come to New Zealand, they got to go see where the hobbits live. And so yeah, I'm at I don't want to use the word stressful, but I feel slightly stressed. So like it's in that region, but no, it's a exciting time. I mean, obviously, crypto's soaring. Seems like a lot of kind of interest in everything going on in the space is surging again. So it's an exciting time for everyone.
Yeah, it definitely is very exciting. And I just want to start off by saying congratulations on, your future marriage here coming in 2 weeks. Uh, or tell me, within your spreadsheet, have you calculated for like the potential. It's like, no, don't sit Aunt Judy with Uncle Mike. They might get into it. Like, do you have are you
Oh yeah.
navigating
Oh yeah.
through those
Oh yeah.
scenarios as well?
Yeah. I mean, my fiance, she's like super organized. You know, when we talked about, oh, I'm the type of guy that does homework the day before it's due, she would do her homework the day she got it. So fortunately, she is very, very organized, knows exactly what she wants. But yeah, I think the seating plan probably took us about 4 hours, because it was like, yeah, these people play golf, so they can talk about golf. There you go. That's two
Mhm.
people sorted. Now let's do the other 86 people, or whatever amount we're on now. So yes, it's organized. There's been a lot of planning. There's instead of a first dance, we're doing a first song. So we're singing in front of everyone. And yeah, because it's on New Year's Eve as well, there'll be fireworks and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, it's been a proper planning process. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting, obviously. So that's good.
Oh wow, hitting on New Year's. That is truly special. Starting out the 2025 year with a bang. It's it's like definitely like you were saying you didn't want to say it's stressful. It's like that kind of good stress. Like it's like in a way pressure, good pressure.
Yeah, pressure is a good word. I do feel a bit of pressure. And almost like it'll be a real nice event, and then afterwards, I think it's gonna feel like, oh, that was so good. Like, had such a good time. Why did I even feel the worry or the pressure or whatever?
it
But yeah,
it's all gonna just fade once you're there. You see your wife in her gown, and you're living it. So I mean, I am definitely happy for you, and I definitely have to follow up. After the wedding, maybe 2 weeks after. I don't know how long the honeymoon maybe, the honeymoon maybe. But I.
true.
I do have a question from the social goblin at the Central End. She is asking, what song are you singing? What's gonna be the wedding
So
song?
it is the Frank Sinatra LOVE, the one that's like love
Uh,
is da. You can
mhm.
tell I've really not practiced the words yet.
uh,
And we've even got a kind of like bit that we're doing where like I'll be like going to sing, and then she kind of grabs it as if she's like, no, I'm the better singer, I'll sing. And so we're just rehearsing like all of that, which is, yeah, it'll be good. But she's also like, she's a professionally trained kind of opera level of a singer. And I was in a band when I was 16 and I was the singer, but like I used to just get real drunk and throw myself around the stage. And so, comparatively, she is very skilled. She can read music and know what notes are. And I kind of just, I'm an entertainer.
you're an
So,
entertainer. I mean, you're needed.
yeah.
You definitely fall within this plot for sure. I wanted to kind of take a moment to say hello to a few people that have popped in. I see Mazafaka up there. Welcome, Brittany. It's very, very nice to see you. Let's see. Mean Green Doge. If Mean Doge is around here, then there has to be a toxic waifu around here as well. If you are around, welcome Toxic, and of course, welcome Old Guy, rocking the Knights of Androm wings, smart wearable wings that used to allow us to fly. Maybe in the future you'll be back in the air, Old Guy. So definitely thank you so much for sharing about your wedding coming up this coming new year. Definitely very exciting times for you. I mean, and even to kind of uh, be moving forward within a space, like I kind of just wanted to shift into GBM Bid to Earn. um, so, I mean, just gonna pass it off to you.
Yeah, of course.
Allow you to give us the general overview, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So GBM is a auction model. It's a patent pending, so it was invented by our company. And as you said, it's a bid to earn auction model, so an incentivized auction model.
Mhm.
And essentially, with a bid to earn auction, there's only two outcomes. You either are the highest bidder and you win the asset that's up for auction, or you get outbid, and in Decentraland's case, you'll earn mana.
Hmm.
The amount of incentive that you earn is decided by the seller, because essentially it's the seller that is paying out this incentive at the end of the auction.
Hmm.
So a seller could decide, oh, I want to have a low incentive level, so I could just give away 1% or 2% on top of people who have been outbid. Or they might be feeling, a little bit spicy, a little bit saucy. I don't know what other cooking terms I'll throw in there, but they might go with the degen incentive level,
Hmm.
which is essentially 20%. So if you imagine that you placed a bid on an item and it was 100 mana, and then you got outbid, you would get your 100 mana back, but you'd also earn 20 mana on top. So suddenly you've come away from an auction with 120 mana when you started with 100.
Hmm.
And then you could go back and rebid, because obviously there's nothing stopping you. And then essentially the final bid minus the incentives paid out would go to the seller. And then the first thought you might have is, oh, why would a seller want to give away some money in an auction? But what we've found over the past few years of operating and from partners that have been using our auction model is prices tend to go for higher than what the seller would expect when they're using an incentivized model like GBM.
Hmm.
Not only because there's more people involved, because if you know that there's auctions on where you can place a low bid and probably get outbid, then essentially you can almost become like a professional bidder. You
Hmm.
can say, oh, well, I know these wearables are worth at least 100 mana.
Yeah.
So I'm going to always go on and bid 10.
Hmm.
And then either there's no worst case for that bidder, because they'll either get a wearable that they believe is worth 100 and the
Hmm.
market believes is worth 100, but they'll pay 10, or in more cases they'll be outbid and then they'll just walk away with more mana.
Hmm.
So that's the essentially the basics of the GBM system.
Hmm.
It has been around for a number of years. It's seen some quite famous users over time. The most recent kind of high profile auction we did was with Dr. Gavin Wood, who you might know as the obviously the co-creator or co-founder of Ethereum and the creator of Polkadot. And we
Hey.
did some auctions with him where we raised $92,000 by selling physical copies of the Ethereum white paper, the Polkadot, Ethereum yellow paper, Polkadot white paper, and Polkadot gray paper. And these were like physical copies that had been signed and annotated by Dr. Gavin Wood.
Holy
So,
shit.
if you're yeah, it's a big bit of history and a big collectible to have, and a physical one as well.
Yeah.
Um, and that ended up raising, as I said, over $90,000 for the charity of Dr. Gavin Wood's choice.
Hmm.
So really, like that's even more of a win-win-win situation for bidders, because I think people earned about $12,000 from being outbid, but they were kind of happy in the fact that, oh, I didn't win the auction, I've made money, and the highest bidder gave money to charity. So it was like a
Hmm.
triple win in that case. We've also had Paris Hilton do some auctions with us. We've had Vitalik Buterin, the creator of Ethereum.
Vitalik.
Yeah, so Vitalik, he hasn't really done, he hasn't interacted that much with NFTs. So we
Hmm.
were quite early to get him to actually auction off an NFT that he created with us. And again, he raised, I think it was about 60 ETH for a couple of charities that he'd chosen. Um, so we've got quite, we've done over 75,000 auctions. I think there's been over $7 million earned by bidders who have been outbid in our auctions. So
Yeah.
like we have got quite a bit of skin in the game. We've got a bit of
Hmm.
history and legitimacy. And we had the proposal put forward to have a GBM auction house for Decentraland,
Hmm.
because Decentraland didn't have any auction system. Like, you could do things on OpenSea, but it didn't have its kind of own dedicated auction system or auction house. So yeah, after a proposal to the DAO that got voted through, after a bit of time working on it and then lining everything up, trying to get the foundation to kind of to reshare and things like that,
Hmm.
that's now gone live as of last week. So yeah, now what we want to do is obviously raise awareness of it. We feel like it's quite a good benefit, not only to the Decentraland community, but also to kind of bring in new users, and also kind of, help us like boost the economy, especially for creators or perhaps event hosts. Like if you're hosting an event and you think, oh, well, I'm going to make a, unique wearable for this. Um, you could host a GBM auction at the same time, and all the people who are attending your event could go, oh, well, we'll go off and use the console and place some bids and, have
Hmm.
that kind of going on, and perhaps raise money for chosen charities, perhaps do it to raise more money for the DAO or for your event organizer or whatever it might be. But the auction house itself obviously does, any proceeds from that do go to the DAO as well. So it's kind of, yeah, it's been exciting to kind of like come in and like learn more about the community and try and identify ways that we can kind of help out with this auction house. So yeah, that's a bit about GBM.
I want to start out with saying like
Sorry, that
I'm
was a
happy
long.
you're here. Like where you've been these last few years. Okay, like as you were speaking, literally the entire time, like I just had moments in my mind where like GBM would have been used like like literal applications of GBM through like both even just Decentraland and like Web3 as a whole. Like one of the past times, for example, and one exists down in the crowd could kind of speak about the event. He helped host it. It was a food drive auction. An individual by the name of Expo Hidi had kind of like started up a foundation, and he wanted to feed the homeless in Chicago during like some hard times, like where they were being displaced and stuff like that. So he started that up, and they were attempting the auction idea, the live auction idea of like on a Twitter space. So one, it was limited by the amount of speakers that you had up there, and then two, it's kind of like it was like between Twitter Space and chats and stuff like that. Like it's everywhere. So I mean, I guess a question to you would be like with using GBM, does it have to be like kind of some sort of like big event that needs like months worth of setting up for, or is it kind of one of those like platforms that, let's say, this foundation that I'm referring to, I can't remember, RMU Foundation, could they just like kind of go to your platform and set up a bid or an auction?
Yeah, yeah, it's super easy. So like if you go to decentraland.gbm.auction, all you'd need to do is connect your wallet, and then you can go to your profile, the My Profile section, and you'd be able to see all the different, whether it's land, wearables, like every NFT contract that Decentraland has. We've imported it. And then you could just choose whether you wanted to launch an auction immediately, have it running for 24 hours, 7 days, like a couple hours, whatever, or you could schedule the auction for a specific time. So whether it was, as you said, like there was an event coming up
Hmm.
in a week, you could say, okay, well, I'll start the auction then. You can also change all the parameters for your auctions as well. So you can have the incentive level, as I mentioned earlier, like, how much incentive people can earn when they're being outbid. You can also set minimum bids and a bunch of other
Hmm.
things as well. So yeah, no, it's not a case of, now you don't need to contact us.
Hmm.
I mean, feel free to. I'm always happy to chat.
It,
But and if you want support, obviously, like if you've got an event come up in Decentraland, we'll happily reshare and retweet and interact and do streams or do
mhm.
anything as well to help out. But no, it's as simple as going to decentraland.gbm.auction and then just starting up your auction. And yeah, I mean it's all very user friendly as long as you're Web3 savvy enough to know how to connect a wallet, which I think most of us are. That's all you'll need to do. I mean, if you go on it now, so we've got a
Yep.
few
Here,
auctions up there at the minute.
let me share my screen with you.
Uh,
I do have it
oh,
up on. Oops, not
good.
not that button. Wrong button. This one.
Oh.
Looks
Nice.
looks like I logged in. It's in the CBD wallet. All right. So yep. I'm here. I'm ready to go.
So yeah, for example, you've got some Polygon Thunder earrings up there. They've got the incentive level of degen, so classic Web3 language. And yeah, if you wanted to obviously place a bid, you just click bid now. You can see there on that page,
Okay.
if you click on bid now.
Here, I like this guy. I'll actually
Yeah, yeah,
bid
nice.
here.
I like you
Uh,
choosing
uh,
the one. Oh yeah,
okay,
nice.
looks like I'm on Polygon, so I need to wait. Transactions on Polygon
Oh,
may take
that
longer.
is a
Okay.
cool helmet.
Yeah, I do
And
see
yeah,
that.
and when you type in your bid, so for example, if you were going to put 100 mana, just no pressure, I'm not putting that on you, but it shows you underneath what you'd earn if you outbid. And so, as I said before, this one is got the degen incentive level, so it's 20%. So if you placed 100 mana bid and then you were outbid, you would earn 20%, so you'd get 20 mana on top. Um, and that happens immediately. That's again the beauty of doing things with Web3 and doing things with smart contracts. It's not a case of the auction ending and then people getting their incentives paid out. It's as soon as you're outbid, you get your original bid back and your incentives on top. So you're then free to either go bid again or you walk away and you've essentially made a 20% return on participating in price discovery. Because that's really, it's a very cool, engaging, rewarding auction model. But really, kind of at the crux of it and what's important about it, especially for the Web3 space, is it's a great price discovery tool for assets that may not have kind of a floor price or may not have a very specific price. And what our model does is because it incentivizes people to take part and because they only have a positive experience when they do participate in these auctions, they're much more confident about bidding to the value that they actually believe it is. Um, and so that actually then sets it up for a much better price discovery tool than like perhaps an English auction. And I'm dissing English auctions and I'm English.
Hmm.
So, I must be serious. But yeah, it's much better than an English auction where you only really have two outcomes, and that's, oh, I'm not rich enough to have the highest bid, and so I lose.
Hmm.
Or you do place a bid and then you're still not high enough, and that's it. So it's just kind of a unhappy outcome. And obviously people might not even turn up for an English auction
Hmm.
because they're like, oh, I know I'm not going to win it. So like, why participate?
Hmm.
But if you have 100 people decide I'm not going to participate in an auction because they don't think they're going to win it, then you're not actually going to get the price that the market believes it's worth because you're just going to have somebody come in, lowball it, and hope they get away with it, whilst
Yeah.
the other 99 people don't turn up. And so that one person, excellent for them, they've managed to get in and get an asset that's worth a lot more than what they're actually paying. But
Hmm.
the seller's having a bad time. The 99 other people that didn't turn up are annoyed they didn't turn up and they don't get anything out of the process. So, yeah, so I think like it's a perfect tool for the Web3 space. But we are actually moving into Web2 as well. Like we've got a setup now where people can use their bank accounts to actually bid on
Nice.
items and assets. So yeah, now we've been doing things with NFTs and Web3 assets for the past few years, and now we're also going to be doing things with like IRL assets like thoroughbred horses,
Hmm.
cigars, artworks, whiskies, like all these fine items that people want to either collect or just purchase. So
Hmm.
yeah, so it's an exciting time for us, and obviously with the kind of crypto space like getting real exciting again, we're seeing a lot of partners from the past few years suddenly come up and say, "Oh, you know how we agreed to do this GBM auctions with you guys a year ago? Well, we want to do it this weekend." And you're like, "Oh, okay, okay, cool. Yes, that's slightly short notice, but like, let's crack on. Let's do it." So yeah, that's where we're at.
Oh, nice. I mean, this is dope. I just placed my first bid here, 1 mana on this Pac-Man or Pac Moon helmet.
Nice.
And yeah, I got, the message. When I get outbidded, I will earn point 0.2 mana from my 1 mana. I mean, so right now, like, point 0.2 mana of 1 mana, that's a 20%. Um, the like moving into the future, does this percentage will this percentage kind of remain, or as like kind of like your business model shifts and either more users start coming in, will there kind of be like a fluctuation in kind of percentages of uh, GBM?
I think, well, at the minute, we've got the four parameters that can be set for incentives. So it's low,
Mm-hmm.
which is essentially 1%. It's
Mm.
mid or medium, which is 5%. There's high, which is 10%, and then degen, which is 20%.
20%.
So those are the kind of levels that after because we've been obviously done this for quite a few years now,
Mm-hmm.
since well, it was invented in 2018 but then properly launched in 2020, so it's been, we've had a few years of getting data and user kind of activity, and we found that really like the ideal kind of incentive level is about 5% to 10%. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, some people want to have a degen auction and have a 20% one, so we put that in. But I think in terms of changing those percentages, those incentive levels, I think what we will do is we'll have a feature where you can just enter exactly what
Mm.
percentage you want to have, whether that's like a sliding scale where you drag it up and drag it down,
Yeah.
or it could just be a case of, yeah, just type in 40% if you're that way inclined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in terms of those percentages, I don't think they'll change that much.
Nice. That's really cool. I'm over here just sharing out the website, the link to the Decentraland auction house on just different
Nice. Thank
chats.
you very much.
Yeah, no, this is this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool.
It is cool, isn't it?
Um,
Um,
ooh, some Bucktown gloves. Someone can get some Bucktown gloves without having to go to bucktown.org.
there we go.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, I think it's like it'll be good to see it take off. Partly, as I said, because obviously funds go to the DAO through this, but
Mm-hmm.
also as I said, like I think it's with I think Decentraland is really at the kind of like moment of, I think it's, you've got some issues within kind of governance side, but if we kind of get through these and if we kind of find that kind of uniting factor, which I think is happening, like there's definitely, I was on a space yesterday, and it was quite heated, because people were kind of disagreeing about VP, which is obviously, that's been a long-standing discussion, but like people were trying to get to the solutions, and whether it was, oh, we need to come up with a draft proposal and change VP, or we need to have more conversations with Wales and kind of find that unity. But it feels like Decentraland's in a potentially good place to just go and go big. So hopefully having like this auction house will help with the economy side of things, but also having it and talking about it and showing other people that are in the Web3 space but might not be in the Decentraland community and saying, hey, by the way, did you know, you can come and actually earn money just for placing bids and being outbid. And worst case scenario, you could get a real sick Hack Moon helmet, um, or you're just going to get outbid and earn money. Like that's definitely a unique pull for people. And when we kind of look at other like metaverse projects, like let's say the Sandbox, one thing that they have that keeps people coming back, like daily active user wise, is
Mm-hmm.
obviously like their incentivized partner launches. And so, a lot of those people, and it's just a fact of life and a fact of Web3 life that people want to earn. Like they've heard all of these things, like play to earn, and so they want to play and earn. Obviously, we've also gone with the bid to earn kind of three-word moniker or whatever. But yeah, I think like having something like this can be a really, really good tool for attracting new users, for kind of finding out like price discovery of these different assets. Because like there's a lot of different wearables that are like sick, like they look so cool.
Hmm.
Um, but perhaps they're not really getting as much kind of exposure as we'd like. So that is one way that hopefully this will help. So yeah, and as you said, you referred to before, whether it's you know like charitable causes or charitable events, this is a great way of rewarding people for attending those, and also for essentially like playing a role in raising funding for charity, which is
Hmm.
a very good thing, right?
Right now we're looking kind of like at the Decentraland version of this. Like, is there a general version where, like, let's say one could put up an NFT up for bid, or like put it up for an
Uh,
auction?
what, just for like any non-Decentraland one?
Yes, yes. Like, let's say I have or someone has a music NFT that they just want to like put out there into the ether, and have people bid on them for a special event, whatever it may be.
Yeah. So for this Decentraland auction house, like it would have to be obviously on
Hmm.
one of the kind of NFT contracts that we've got. If it was separate and it was kind of a non-Decentraland asset,
Hmm.
we can deploy a DApp at any point, and all we need is the contract address for
Okay.
for that asset, and then we can spin that up, and that takes us not long at all.
Okay.
So yeah, it's entirely possible. Like if somebody wanted to host, or somebody had a music, platform or label, and they decided, oh, every time one of our artists releases the first version of their song or their first song, we're going to do a GBM auction.
Hmm.
Then that's entirely possible. And kind of actually on that, there is, I don't know if you've ever heard of Song a Day Man.
Yes, I actually yeah, that name sounds familiar. I don't know where
Yeah,
though.
he's been around a long time. I think he's on his 6,000th day of doing a song a day.
Now,
So,
I think yes, I've come across him in a
yes,
Twitter space, I believe. He's like, "Hey, I
yeah,
made a
and
song today."
and a few of his songs over time have done very, very well. And part of that is because he uses GBM auctions. So every single day he releases a song, and
Really?
people can then bid on the song. And even if they get outbid, they still get kind of a version of the song as an NFT as well. So they have like a very good outcome.
Hmm.
But him, for example, like some of his most popular songs, I think like this song is a security. There was one like "fuck SBF" when obviously all the FTX meltdown happened,
Oh boy.
and yeah, a bunch of other ones. And so yeah, we've had people from like Coinbase, like Brian Armstrong, bidding on those songs, and Jonathan Mann, who is Song a Day Man, he like loves it, partly because the revenue in terms of like pre GBM and post GBM is dramatically different. I think like his average sale before GBM was like $110, and then after his average song was $400. So even though he might be giving away, 5% or 10% incentive level, he's making, 200% more on his song sales. And his whole community are like bidding every day, and oh no, I've got outbid, I've just earned this ETH, like
Hmm.
happy days.
And he's
So he's a
yeah.
good example of like a music one.
Yeah, nice. It's and I guess I just looked over at the Twitch chat, and it looks like we may have a question from the previous topic, which was pertaining to the rewards, the kickback that you get from getting outbid. It's Meta Wolf. He's saying, if he understood correctly, the seller is the one that pays the reward. Is that correct?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, yeah. So it's the seller taking on that kind of responsibility of the, obviously it's all coming out automatically and based on smart contracts, so they're not having to manually do everything. But yeah, it's the seller. So that's why we give the option of, do you want to set a low incentive level, or do you want to set like a very, very high one? And we actually do recommend that you go with 5 to 10%, just because I think that's like you're not kind of offering up too much of the final sale price.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, like because we've had all of these examples and partners that are getting, 300%, 400% better sale prices, for them to kind of be giving up or offering up 5, 10% to their community, they don't mind. And obviously, like it then changes, as I said before, referring to the English auction, where there's just a kind of sad outcome for everyone who isn't the richest person.
Yeah.
In these situations, everyone can show their support for an artist, a creator, or an event host, or a charity, um, without having a negative experience and without feeling like, oh, my bids don't really matter.
Yeah.
Because actually, with GBM, like every bid matters because it's an opportunity to win, but also it matters because you're playing a role in price discovery, or in the case of a charitable auction, you're playing a role in raising money for charity. So, like, it's perfect for that.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. And let's see his follow-up question, um, which I almost feel like you could have answered. Can this scenario happen where the rewards exceed the price of the actual item? Uh,
no,
okay.
no, that's not possible. No, yeah, it's not possible. Because first of all, you couldn't set. The only way that could happen is if you set an incentive level of 150%, which isn't possible. And yeah, like obviously the last person who places the highest bid is not getting outbid.
Mm,
So you would never be giving away more than what you're getting because you're not paying that last person, the highest bidder, an
mm,
incentive. It's just the people that came before, essentially.
mm-hmm.
Um,
And
I was going to say there is a slightly more kind of complex part to GBM, which is that uh, the amount of the amount I always struggle to explain this, especially when I'm hot. The amount of incentive that you earn is determined by two things. One, it's determined by the seller, who, as we've discussed, sets that incentive level at the start of the auction. So if they've set a 10% auction incentive level, 10% is the maximum that you can earn when you're outbid. However, there is also a calculation based on how much you outbid the person before you to determine how much of that 10% reward incentive you can actually earn. So, for example, if you placed 100 mana bid on an item and there's the 10% incentive level, you're the first bidder to place your 100 mana bid. I then come on and I place 101 mana bid. You would get your 10% because you're the first bidder, you've been outbid, so you get your 10%, so you'll get 110 mana.
mhm.
Me, the second bidder, who only outbid you by 1 mana, if I then got outbid by somebody else, I would not receive 10% incentive level, because I haven't outbid you by a degree large enough to earn that
uh,
full 10%. I hope that makes sense. Like
yeah.
I'm not the maths guy, so like and I'm happy to send the algorithm. I'm happy to send the mathematical equation. I'm happy to send the actual case study research documentation if anybody's a big maths person. But yeah, that's just something I want to clarify, which is it gets a bit more complex. But yeah, hopefully, does that make sense to you?
It makes sense to me. How about you, Meta Wolf?
Nice.
Yeah, no, I totally.
Please say it does matter well.
Uh, and let's see. We had a comment from our homie Alpha Angels. Good to see you, Alpha. Thank you for being here. Um, he says more people should be using GBM. I wish we had this during our bull run. And Alpha's like an OG like friend of mine. Like maybe like back in 20 2021. Like we pretty much met like November 2021. We've been kicking it since and stuff like that.
Nice.
But Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was because obviously Decentraland's heyday, like as one of the OG projects as well, it would have been
Yep.
quite exciting, and obviously some of the prices of items and the volume of trading that would have been happening,
Hmm.
it would have been phenomenal. Because yeah, you'd have situations where people could be getting outbid and earning thousands of dollars.
Hmm.
Which is yeah, like we had that with the Gavin Wood auction where
Hmm.
people were
Wow.
were like, oh yeah. Well, yeah, I think like yeah, they obviously went for quite big sums, and so people were getting thousands of dollars when they were outbidding each other. So, um, yeah, it's but I mean, like it also scales down and up, right? Because you could have some individuals that are maybe in regions, where the dollar amount and the mana conversion to dollar actually means a significant more than perhaps to like more like maybe Western regions, where yeah, it's so like you could, as I kind of referred to before, you could have people that become professional bidders, and they may only come on and bid zero point 0.1 mana and take away, 0.11. But if they're doing that very regularly, they're doing it consistently, that's gonna total up and be a earning, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I feel like on top of that, like like let's say these professional bidders, I feel like that's almost like an incentive for them to want to bring people to the platform to want to place bids. Like if you have that
Exactly.
bankroll, for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
individuals like those, it's like, oh, I got left with the product, or I made the final bid. Dang. I bet.
Yeah, I mean, like as you said, like that's such a good point. That yeah, like it can bring in because if one person tells their five friends, "Oh, I was placing bids on this auction house and I earned $10 from being outbid," then their friends are like, "Oh, hang on, like I'll come and bid on the next auction," and then suddenly you've got friends turning into bidding war combatants.
Yep.
But at the same time, like they are not only bringing more of their friends, they tell five more, they tell three more, they tell five more, and suddenly you're having an economy that's much more bustling and much more like much better volumes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then of those people that might be engaging in the community, some people might go, oh well, I might actually buy this land because I got it at the auction. Oh, I'm actually going to build this on. Oh, like I'll bring my friends. Oh, and that it's those experiences that then lead to people joining the community and it growing and it developing further. So, yeah, that's obviously like one of the things that we hope happens as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, tell your friends about it. Set up your auctions. If you've got any events coming up in the community that you want to do some of these auctions at, where obviously happy to support and happy to answer any questions or anything like that
Mm-hmm.
as well. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to, like in the future, like kind of just link you up with some people within just Web3, like to, for their, like, charity auctions, because I feel like you definitely have the product that we've all been looking for when it comes to, the auction house, the Web3 or would you say Web3, or is it like more like beyond, like more like just digital or
yeah. I
generalized?
mean, I think yeah, we're definitely like Web3. Like that's where our origins are. I've been messing around in crypto since 2013, so like 11, almost 12 years now. And kind of dealing with NFTs before they were NFTs, when they were either colored coins or just ERC20 tokens with a little change in the serial number or whatever. And so like yeah, we're definitely like Web3 native. And actually, with your ENS name, you might be interested because ENS Vision, aka or now known as Vision.io,
Hmm.
they'll be launching bid to earn auctions very soon. And I'm allowed to say that it was a bit of a
Yeah.
secret, but but the founder of Vision, Zim Tente, he accidentally let the secret out on a Twitter space recently. So now I'm allowed to talk about it. Liability is extinguished. I don't have to worry.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No NDA was broken at this
Nope.
moment. Let's go. Well, everyone that's listening, you heard it here, and that's very exciting news. Holy crap!
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely we'll get you in touch with some individuals, and I mean, just wanted to kind of segue into your personal experience, kind of coming into Decentraland and meeting all of us, all the individuals that are here. You mentioned when we got on this call that you have been around for a very long time, but you are just starting to kind of dabble into like getting to meet the community, seeing what's actually out there, or like who's out there, more to say.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, first off, I'd like to say like you guys are awesome. Like I've obviously kind of from a personal and work level, I've joined lots of different communities and learned a lot about them, whether it was through personal of owning the NFTs and then kind of wanting to experience that, especially as many of us did. And one of the reasons for the big NFT bull run was during COVID,
Hmm.
socializing was a lot more difficult, and masks made it a lot more difficult. And so doing things with communities online and through the Web3 space was the ideal, which is obviously a big factor in why it kind of all took off at that time as well. But yeah, like as I said, like you guys are probably one of the nicest and most welcoming communities that I've experienced, even though you're kind of going through a tough time at the minute when it comes to like figuring out the governance, figuring out like what the foundation's role is, and also just yeah, all of that. Like even though you've got that drama going on, like people here are lovely. Like they're so nice. It may also be the wearables making me think,
Yeah.
you're all lovely. So you've got little kittens dancing around you and all this, and like emotes going off, which is just lovely. But nah, like the way I see people treating new people is just like so welcoming, and it doesn't seem like it's from the kind of uh like sort of selfish, like, oh yeah, I want you to come in and buy my NFT, like that's
Hmm.
why I care about you being here. It just seems more of a like, oh, like, we love this, we love our community, like we want other people to have fun experiences and build things and just enjoy this.
Yes.
So yeah, that was like the number one thing for me, over the past few weeks. Has just been like, oh man, these guys are lovely. And like big respect to you. I know like you get a lot of respect in community for pushing the message out about Decentraland and making people aware. And obviously, thank you very much for having me on. That's a
It's an
million times
honor.
thank you. Um, but yeah, no, as I said, like um, from the personal side, I just think, oh wow, this is incredible. And yeah, I did, as you said, I have kind of popped in and out over the past few years. I think originally when I got the Wasi NFT. So for any listeners that haven't recognized me
Let me
in
get next
in
to you.
in,
Yeah.
in Decentraland, yeah, like I have a platypus type uh, skin, which is actually a Wasi. And a few people were asking me what a Wasi is, but it's one of those like mysterious creatures that's an NFT collection from
It's
back in the day.
it's if you know you know kind of creature.
Yeah, yes, it is. It is. But yeah, as I said, like it's just yeah, such an awesome community, and so kind of normally when I'm looking from a work perspective, I don't really feel as much pull to be like actually getting involved. But the fact that I've kind of been like, oh, actually, they've got these cool weekend events on. I'm gonna go. Like I'm not. I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm listening to some great DJs and like chatting with people that are super friendly. So yeah, and also seeing all the stuff that people have built, and also like thinking that my like gaming skills as I get a slightly older, not too old, but like are not as good as they were. Like there was a point where um at the music festival, I just couldn't figure out how to get up this tower. And I felt like so dumb. I felt like this is what it would look like to like me as a child looking at my older self going, clearly you go this route around the baggage claim section. Why are you not trying that? And then my adult self being like, but there's a sign that says don't go that way. You know what I mean?
We don't follow rules on the metaverse.
Hell nah, hell nah.
The
Build whatever you want. That's it.
build whatever you
Um,
want, where you want it, how you want it.
definitely, definitely.
Uh, but man, thank you for sharing your perspective, especially like from someone kind of like looking in to towards the community. Like that kind of means a lot, because there are definitely a lot of individuals that are very passionate about the Centraland platform, as you've probably heard from like previous spaces. Like we get heated, we get loud, we get heated, um, but it's all like conversations that do need to be had in order to move
Mm.
forward, especially when we're dealing in such a like complex space. It's like there's the foundation, there's the DAO, there's us, the community, the people that own the central land and build on it on a everyday basis. And it's definitely like change isn't easy, but
No.
definitely there will be an outcome to all this.
Mm.
And I mean, like, we just have to like we just have to adapt and move forward, build what we can and how we can.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the good thing is, as I said, like even though you're having this kind of drama in the background, the fact that you can still have like, your regular events, have meetups, have things going on that it doesn't matter about that drama. That's what's like so good about it, that you've got that feel good kind of background to it. But as you said, like, this is figuring out DAO governance, figuring out voting power weighting, it's very difficult. It took thousands of years really to get democracy to a certain level where people actually were like, yeah, this is reasonable, and still people have issues with it. And so a DAO, like a completely decentralized, autonomous organization, that's something that's very difficult to get right. And it's, yeah, as you said, it's these kind of hard conversations that'll get you there. But yeah, there's going to be a few fallings out over time. There's going to be some makeups. There's going to be yeah, good times and hard times. But yeah, it's just, as I said, like it's so good that your community is just lovely. That's the main thing.
Definitely very creative and passionate bunch. I love them all to death. To tell you the truth, like I little about me, like I was a full-time Web3 for about the last like 3 years or so. And recently I had like gone out and found a full-time job. And I have to say, like, I have never appreciated my time on Decentraland with all these individuals so much, like than I did after I got this job. Like, I just wanna get off work and rush over here on Mondays. Like, I'm rushing here to host these shows, which I mean, this is what I love to do. And hopefully one day I could turn this hobby into some work or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, you don't know. You could be, yeah, the chief marketing chief something for Decentraland. Who knows where it'll go? That's what's so exciting about it as well.
Chief Degen at the
Chief
Centraland. Uh, you
dot
know,
eth.
dot eth. Yes. All right. I'm minting that as soon as we get done here. Let's see. I'm just checking chats to see if there are any
Oh
questions
yeah,
for you.
one existence did have a question, and like it was in this Discord. He
Yep.
said,
Yep.
being from New Zealand, do you even know the name of the city with the longest name? If you do, can you say it? First of all, I'll preface this by saying I'm not from New Zealand. I'm from Newcastle, which is northeast England. Lovely place, very friendly people. Uh, and I know that the longest city name here is like Taumata Whakati Oranga, and then probably another 40 letters. So that's about where I can get to. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. No, I can't say it. Like it's I'm gonna look it up actually and see if I was right.
uh, can you?
Oh
But
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. So it's Taumata Whakatangi Hanga Kua Awa Kamata Teka Turi Puka Ka Piki Maonga. So that probably, like, there'll be Maori dudes that are like, what the hell? Like that's nowhere near it. But Try saying the Welsh one. That's even harder.
Can you imagine saying that like angry? Like, like they have
It'd
to
probably be
abbreviate.
it might be easier to say angry. You never know. It's just like get it
It
out.
just flows out. Oh man, like how like how do you abbreviate this? Why? I just want to know why you would name a city like this. Maybe it's a
I
cultural
do
thing.
not know.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was a joke to play on people that couldn't speak the language. That could be a thing.
I do know that like like man, I forget. I don't wanna like misquote. Is it Moy? No. The kind of like the second most prominent man, I'm just gonna stop here. Well, anyway.
We almost got there, and then oh yeah,
I almost got canceled here, but not tonight, not
yeah.
tonight. uh, and I am looking in chat, and I see that Make is stuck in a blizzard, waiting for his boy to stop hanging out here. What's your boy doing hanging out in a blizzard? How are you stuck and he's not? So many follow-up questions. Let me know, Make, if you need me to dig you out. He so so okay, so we've kind of covered the community, somewhat of the conversations that you've seen around Decentraland, and we've covered the auction house, the auction house, the Decentraland version, and we spoke about even potentially how to set up for auction that is not Decentraland based, that it's NFT token based. Um,
Yeah.
let's see.
Yeah, if anyone has any other questions, obviously feel free to, you can either DM me, you can find me in Decentraland under Forsaken. You won't be able to miss the beak on my skin, so you'll know who I am. Or just send me a DM as well on Twitter, or, I'm always available. And yeah, like if people are out there watching and thinking, oh, I've got a non-Decentraland project or a non-Decentraland series of NFTs or collections that I want to use GBM auctions for, then yeah, feel free to get in touch. It's a case of it doesn't take much now that we've developed our DApp,
Hmm.
and for the Decentraland one, it's got the Decentraland branding and colors, and that's something that you can easily change if you want to do it for something else.
Yeah.
So there's also like deeper integration options as well. So, for example, have you heard of Avagotchi?
Yes. Are we
Yes.
talking about? I know there's like, and there's the NFT project, but I thought perhaps there's also a token somewhere of it.
Yeah, there's Token,
Okay.
which is Ghost, and then they've got like a bunch of games going on, and they've
Hmm.
got like obviously the NFT collection with a bunch of utility sides as well. And they've been using GBM for a number of years now, but they've actually got it integrated into their marketplace. So
Hmm.
there's kind of different levels of integration you can do. You can either have a standalone DApp like we have with Decentraland, where it's a website with the branding, everything's obviously audited and everything like that. Uh, or you can have it built into your actual marketplace or your platform.
Oh.
So yeah, so there's like two layers to that. And it just depends what you want to do. If
Hmm.
you maybe have like one event and you don't want to have a marketplace forever, then you could just do the DApp option. Or if you're like, launching a new music platform where you're going to be releasing songs, regularly, then you might want to do a deeper integration and actually have it as part of your own marketplace. So,
Hmm.
yeah, we're happy to help anyone. And obviously, there's a lot of documentation depending on which way you want to go. But yeah.
That is yeah, man. Where have you been these last 3 years, bro? Where have you been? I should have met you like 3 years ago. We
Oh, it
could
would
have
have
had
been
it.
nice to
We
do
could have
that.
had auctions, man. We could have had
Yeah,
auctions.
yeah, yeah.
I guess like one question that kind of popped in my head about like kind of setting up an auction for an NFT that's not Decentraland related. Do you have to be the contract owner, or could you just say like, "Hey, I have this kid called Beast that I want to auction away"? You know, you're not. If you did that, you're not the owner of the project itself. Would you be
Yeah, yeah.
able to?
You don't have to be the deployer of the
Okay.
smart contract. You can just obviously get the smart contract address, input that, and essentially it will then pull all of the NFTs that are in that collection.
Hmm.
And then when you connect your wallet, it would show any NFTs that are in that collection. So yeah,
Okay.
no, it doesn't have to be yours. It can be any kind of publicly available
Hmm.
contract, which, thanks to the blockchain, they all are. So that's good.
Do you foresee a future with like the Central Land having like an area with an auction house like that is working once you know, we get over some hurdles?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, we're quite busy in terms of like the next few months, but that is like I've had a few people approach me and say, "Ooh, it'd be quite cool if you actually had some land where you had like an auction house." And also one of the things that I thought was really cool at the music festival was, those like booths
Yeah.
where the like the sponsors were like there and you could get your wearable, but you could also watch the video and like the music change in there.
Hmm.
Like those type things, we were like, I was like, oh, if we could have one of those that just gets kind of like put into a land, like, those were at the festival, and people can run over, and then the console that they use at the event is a link out to the auction house. Then you can have all of that, and you can have branding up and everything. I was like, that is something we could do, like feature at these different events and have like an auction going on. So yes, definitely, we do want to do that, and I've suggested it. But yeah, our
Yeah.
list of like things we want to do, especially when it becomes the bull market,
Hmm.
becomes long and longer.
Hmm.
But that's what's so exciting, is that you actually get to kind of start doing these things. So
Yep, yep. And I mean, definitely, you know, time consistency. That's what all this is all about. And I mean, from your story that you've been telling us, like you've been here, you've been through the bull, you've been through the bear, and you've still been building, and you've still been pushing forward. You know, I can tell that this is something that you are passionate about and would like to push forward.
oh
Um,
yeah,
and I mean, it's been great to meet you.
oh,
Let's see.
pleasure to meet you as well.
Yeah. I mean, this has been our first time. Like, we didn't like, you know, message back and forth. Well, and then like a few messages back and forth, and then it's like, boom, let's get you on Beyond the NFT.
Yeah. And also, I'll have to come and help you. I'll try and restart my Call of Duty career and try and come and help you or something.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're always here in this Discord, the community
Yeah.
building Decentraland Discord. You know, we're always chilling. I guess beginning my closing questions. I guess closing question would be like, let's give the Uno reverse card to. Do you have any questions for me? Anything that you would like to kind of know, or maybe I could like point you towards the direction of someone that might know.
I guess, well, it's just like if there's any specific events coming up that you think in particular would
Mm.
benefit from having GBM auctions, or a GBM auction going on. And also, yeah, I mean, like I'm already kind of talking to quite a few creators, and kind of just like trying to figure out like, well, I'm trying to remember his name. I'd feel rude if I don't get it right. Is it Rizik?
Risk.
Risk, and
Yeah.
he built the Singapore like children's hospital or orphanage from his like own, like just from looking at a few pictures, and made that in Decentraland. Like that's a good example where I've been talking to him and saying, oh, what if we did some auctions that raise money for children's charities? That would be quite like fitting for the stuff that he's worked on.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, just if you have any ideas of events that are coming up, that might be suitable for hosting some auctions at, or people to speak to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Let's see. Something that I can point you towards is Toxic's TikTok Tuesdays. I don't know if you've been to one yet. Mean Green
Oh,
Doge. I see you in on the parcel. Are you and Toxic on for tomorrow? Toxic TikTok Tuesday? Yes, no, yes, no. We'll get an answer in about 2 minutes.
nice, nice.
But
And is that on TikTok? Because I'm more of an Instagram kind of elderly man type thing. But
Well, they stream it to Twitch, but the
cool.
event is hosted in a DCL world.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. It's the green screen DCL world, something like that, and yeah, they like Mean Green Doge, like he's like chilling on the dance floor. He is a super like talented developer, and loves to tinker around with the Central End, try new things. So they always like try to bring something fun, whether if it's an elevator or like you like pop in there and you're just floating in our solar system, and you got
Nice.
planets rotating around. So I mean, perhaps maybe in the future they may want to host something special. Maybe I could even have you been to the ABC Decentraland Tours event yet?
No, I think that was the one last weekend that I think I missed that
Mm,
because it was like a 4 a.m. start for me. So I was like,
Uh,
oof,
yeah, it happened
yeah.
on Friday. This week at least, it happened on Friday, which was and yeah, it started off a little earlier. Yeah, if it was 2 p.m. when we got into this call, normally they happen on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, so that would be noon your time. And
Oh yeah, okay, that's manageable.
yeah, if you're ever around, like I understand that
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it's like a Sunday for you, chill Sunday. I believe Billy is from Australia, so like he may be
Ah,
somewhat in a closer time zone to you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. So.
Nice. Yeah, it's always good to meet a few people that actually are in my time zone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a bit different out here. But Mean Green says no TikTok Tuesday tomorrow, but we think we can show our last big project for this year next week. There we go.
uh, all right, all right. Well, we'll see you next week then, Mean Green Doge. Oh man, I'm sad tomorrow. Well, I mean, I do know that Crypto Minotaur will be playing a show tomorrow night, probably. So that could be something
I'll
to
probably
look
sign
to.
up for that as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Um,
always random events. You can find them in like
yeah, in the
the
main.
Central Land
Uh,
events in the main. Yep.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah. And let's see, we've been going for about an hour, 15 minutes or so. I mean, it's been a great conversation so far. Um, I guess my closing question to you is any final thoughts that you would like to leave everyone with? And the
Yeah,
follow up is how could anyone reach you if they would like to
yeah.
hit you up?
So yeah, if you want to hit me up, I am. It's kind of annoying because I got on Twitter in like 2011, right? And at that time, crypto was so early on. You could have chosen at like crypto probably and had that username. Instead, for some reason, I thought, oh, I'm gonna be like semi-anonymous. So my name, I'm gonna be completely not anonymous now. My name's Jake Scott. So I put my my username on Twitter as fake E dot. So like that sounds like Jake E. Scott, which is my name, but for some reason I put it as that, and it's like the worst Twitter username to actually find me. But the easier way to find me is at GBM Auction. So yeah, I mean, send us a message or a DM, and I'll pick it up on there. We've got our Discord as well, which you can find through our website at gbm.auction. I'm also around in, the Foundation Decentraland Discord. I'm in the DAO Decentraland Discord, and of course the wonderful, if anything, the best one, the Community Building Decentraland Discord as well. Um, So yeah, I mean, even if you're more old school, you want to send me an email. I'm Jake@gbm.auction. But yeah, I mean, in terms of closing thoughts, just like as I said, kind of aware that the Decentraland community is going through like a tough time at the minute with in terms of governance, but like you are all like super passionate, super talented people. So, even if you have your differences and your arguments, just like stick it out and keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what you're passionate about. And you will figure out the DAO element. But it's not easy. So like, huge respect for people who are trying to come up with proposals or trying to kind of bridge divides or find ways to make it all work as a community, because that's the ups and downs of society and community, is that some people have different ideas, some people have different passions, and like that's what makes actually the world an exciting place, because there's different ideas and different things happening. So yeah, just say as a final message, like thank you so much, Sinful, for having me on, because like I've felt real good love from you and felt very welcoming from you and many others. Um, and yeah, I wish we'd kind of chatted like a few years ago, but I think like, it's always the case in crypto of, oh, I wish I was earlier, but like, I don't think you're ever too late when it comes to this stuff. So, yeah, just huge respect to you for, keeping everyone well informed about what's going on in the space and also entertained and everything. So, yeah, I hope you get to go full time in Decentraland work life rather than your now 9 to 5. But we'll see. You
W-
never know what's around the corner, right?
We'll be back one day soon. And also, yeah, I mean, to us meeting earlier, there's no time like the present. So,
There you go.
yep, very very happy. That you came on tonight's show. It's definitely been, it's an honor to have you on the show, and let's do this again sometime in the future. Maybe perhaps when GBM has a major update, or something big is in the works. You're always welcome.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, bro. And yeah, we'll see if we can get hooked up on Call of Duty or some games, and yeah, we can both get good. 'Cause,
Yes.
I'm probably currently bad. So yeah, let's do it. Let's
That
do it.
that's like the title to like all my most of my Call of Duty streams, trying to get good.
Yes, yes. At the
uh,
minimum, good. Not the best, but good.
exactly. Alrighty. On that note, thank you everyone for being here. I mean, we've been holding at a solid 7 viewers on Twitch this entire time. We've had everyone here on Parcel, with us here. Thank you, and as well as those of you that have been watching on X, Kick, or YouTube. I really appreciate your time. Um, and yeah, we'll be back here for another episode of Beyond the NFT next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you very much.